Hello BL lovers, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about hard BL series. I took my time to rewatch these shows carefully, and if you're familiar with some of them, you already know they don't go easy on the viewer. These are not soft stories, they're raw, real, and sometimes uncomfortable to sit through. Viewers out of this genre often think of BL as a comfort, romance, and happy endings, shows, or stories you watch to escape reality for a while. But there's another side of BL that doesn't try to reassure you or make love look simple. Not because these series are shocking or explicit, but because they refuse to make love easy. They show desire turning obsessive, relationships filled with flaws, and choices that come with real consequences. In these stories, love doesn't always fix everything, and sometimes it doesn't save anyone at all. Many of these series deal with loss, identity, control, and emotional damage in ways that feel painfully real. Number 10. Egoist. Egoist wasn't the kind of drama everyone would immediately want to watch. Many viewers were drawn to it for different reasons, including the presence of mature scenes. But beyond that, the story itself is deeply painful. As expected, it's a hard BL, not because it tries to shock, but because it tackles reality without sugarcoating anything. It tells the story of Kosuke, who lost his mother at the age of 14, growing up gay in a rural village. He learned early how to suppress his feelings and live quietly. Years later, he meets Ryuta, a personal trainer who was raised by a single mother and shares a very close bond with her. As they grow closer, Kosuke also begins spending time with Ryuta's mother. For a brief time, everything feels peaceful. But when harsh reality steps in, their relationship begins to fall apart. I honestly believe queer men will relate to it on a deeper level, especially those who grew up or still live in environments that are not queer-friendly. Egoist is painful because it feels real. Number 9. Light. This is another deeply queer story told as a film. Even though it has a happy ending, it's still very hard to digest. The movie doesn't only show the reality of abandonment and growing up without family support, it also explores the difficult choices people make when they feel trapped and out of options. The emotional weight of this story is heavy and heartbreaking. The story follows Light, who grew up without love or safety. His childhood was marked by serious mistreatment, and he never experienced a sense of protection. After losing his mother, his only remaining family, he had nowhere to turn and was pushed into a life he never chose. Because of this, his idea of love becomes deeply tied to survival, even when that love is not genuine. Light meets Shuo, an undercover police officer working to take down a criminal network. Shuo notices Light's struggles. He takes him in and offers him shelter. The story then asks whether Light can truly face his past and learn to live with it, or if he's still searching for comfort in the wrong places. This is a very sensitive story, especially because it deals with childhood trauma and long-term emotional damage. Number 8. Happy of the End. This is another dark and heartbreaking story, and honestly, it's not something anyone would want to romanticize. As expected, it's a Japanese BL series. While the story does give us a happy ending, you can't help but ask at what cost. The emotional weight carried throughout this series is on another level. The trauma portrayed here is heavy, especially when it comes to experiences rooted in childhood, and it leaves a cold feeling that lingers long after watching. It tells the story of Kihiro, who wakes up dazed and confused, surrounded by trash, with memories of a wedding still fresh in his mind. Suddenly, a young man named Kido appears before him, triggering flashes of the night they spent together. The alcohol, the hotel, and the confrontation all come rushing back. Kihiro doesn't currently have a place to call home, and Kido is far from being a good person. Still, the story asks whether two broken people, standing in the worst moments of their lives, might somehow find happiness together. What makes this series even harder to sit with is how realistic it feels. It doesn't feel polished or softened. Instead, it presents the reality of people living on the margins, without editing life to make it more comfortable for the viewer. Number 7. Mood Indigo. Mood Indigo feels painfully real, especially if you're familiar with Japanese manga and adult-oriented storytelling. It reflects the quiet truth that you never really know what people are forced to do just to survive. It tells the story of Shiro, who is reuniting with a former classmate, Kijima, at a college teacher's funeral. When they meet again, it becomes clear that Kijima is no longer thriving. He's stuck, creatively and emotionally, feeling like his talent has run dry. Kido, who is also lost in his own way, offers Kijima a chance to write adult fiction. What starts as work slowly turns into something much more complicated. As intimacy grows between them, so does their unhealthy dependence. Desire, guilt, and emotional suffering become deeply entangled, pushing their relationship beyond healthy boundaries. Number 6. Dead Friend Forever. This one stands out for me because the story is driven by revenge. It shows the cruelty of human behavior and how kindness, in certain situations, can put someone at risk. Dead Friend Forever isn't focused on the everyday reality of gay men. Instead, it highlights the reality of people with fewer privileges, those struggling with mental health challenges, and the emotional damage that builds over time. It's a brutal story. The plot follows 8 school friends who take a trip to a vacation house in the mountains. The trip is meant to be a farewell for a friend who is about to study abroad. As they spend time together, revisiting old memories, they begin to notice strange signs that suggest a 9th person may be hiding somewhere in the house. Soon, disturbing incidents begin to unfold, and they realize this is no ordinary farewell. What was meant to be a goodbye slowly turns into a terrifying situation where past actions come back with serious consequences. Number 5. The Novelist. This is another Japanese BL series, and it shows just how deeply unresolved trauma can reshape a person. It focuses on adult struggles, emotional dependency, and the long-lasting effects of suppressed pain. It tells the story of Kazumi Haruhiko, a university student whose life takes an unexpected turn after he causes a bicycle accident. The accident leaves novelist Kijima Ryo with a broken arm. Kazumi has no insurance and no money to cover the damage. Instead of asking for compensation, he asks Kazumi to transcribe a story he is writing. Kazumi is shocked to discover that the story is explicit and emotionally intense. As they spend more time together, the boundary between obligation, curiosity, and desire begins to blur. The novelist explores power imbalance and emotional manipulation. Number 4. My Stand-In. This is a Thai BL series. Ain't no fun at all. This story is deeply traumatizing. Even though some parts are unrealistic, the emotional core is very real. It focuses heavily on selfishness, control, and power imbalance within a relationship. Everything feels uncomfortable and strange. As usual, the story does give us a happy ending, but the journey there is far from easy. It tells the story of Joe, a stuntman for a famous actor named Tong. He later forms a close bond with Ming, unaware that Ming is projecting his feelings for Tong onto him, seeing Joe as a replacement rather than a person of his own. When the truth finally comes out, Joe's life takes a tragic turn, and he dies in an accident while working on a foreign set. Joe then wakes up in the body of another young man, also named Joe, who passed away on the same day. With guidance, he slowly resumes his former life and reconnects with Ming, who remembers their past and desperately wants him back. As Ming searches for answers and tries to understand Joe's new existence, he also seeks forgiveness and a chance to reclaim what they lost. Number 3. The End of the World with You. This one actually kind of hurt. It's represent a kind of situation where forgiveness is forced. It tells the story of Masumi Nishina, a young man stuck in a meaningless office job, accepts his fate and returns to his old college library to quietly wait for the end since the world is thrown into a chaos that a massive meteorite will hit Earth in 10 days, likely ending all human life. There, he unexpectedly reunites with Ritsuko Sakabe, the man who once broke his heart. With time running out and the world about to end, the two are forced to face unresolved feelings, past pain, and the question of whether love is still worth choosing when nothing else remains. This series is quiet, heavy, and emotionally devastating. It's not about saving the world, but about choosing connection in the face of inevitable loss. Number 2. 4 Minutes. The series, a lot of people who watch this series find it difficult to understand, and that because it's a psychological thriller series. It's an intense series that focused on control, family toxicity, crime, and revenge. It also touches on mental health struggles and the need for acceptance as a queer person. It tells the story of Great, a university student from a powerful family who suddenly gains the ability to see 4 minutes into the future. As he changes events using this power, he meets Time, a resident surgeon, and their relationship begins to grow. Alongside this is the story of Taklin, a young man driven by guilt and loss, choosing revenge as his form of justice. Number 1. This is one of the hardest BL films to watch. It's deeply unsettling and emotionally exhausting, focusing on psychological collapse and loss of control rather than romance. It tells the story of Katsuragi, an office worker whose life has completely fallen apart, reaches a breaking point and is rescued by a mysterious man. What follows is a disturbing journey that strips him of freedom and forces him to confront fear, despair, and the darkest sides of human desire. This film is not for everyone, but it stands as one of the most extreme examples of hard BL. That's it for today's hard BL list. These stories aren't meant to comfort you. They're raw and honest, showing a side of BL that's hard to watch but impossible to forget. Let me know which one stayed with you the most, and I'll see you in the next video.